Oh, you selfish.
That's okay.
Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about a topic that's often stigmatized and misunderstood. Women who choose not to have children. Specifically, I want to address the notion that says these women are selfish. So kindly watch this conversation as well as some reaction from different people. I'll be back to leave my own comment. Please don't go away.
Why would you not want to have kids?
Why would I?
I'm asking you.
Why don't I want to have kids? I don't see any benefit.
For giving somebody life?
You have a kid and your life becomes about the kid. I want my life to be about me.
Oh, you selfish.
That's okay.
You know what's selfish? Having kids to heal your inner child. You know what's selfish? Having kids to keep a man. You know what's selfish? Having kids to get that tax money. You following me? Because it's quite selfish having kids to heal your inner child, to give you that childhood that you never had from your own parent, expecting that poor baby to give you that unconditional love when you haven't even taken the time to love yourself. Having kids to give you some sort of meaning in this life or to entertain your boredom. Now that's selfish, if you ask me.
Why is it that whenever a woman says she does not want kids, people call her selfish? You that have kids, give me one non-selfish reason why you have kids. People say they have kids so that they will have somebody to take care of them when they are older. Selfish reason. So that they can experience unconditional love. Very selfish and rubbish reason. Go and see a therapy. Jesus said, go into the world and multiply. He's talking about spreading the gospel and multiplying as Christians, not spreading your legs. Someone to carry on their name and legacy. You've not even achieved anything in life. You've not made your mark on earth, yet you want somebody to carry on your name. What name? What legacy? Legacy of poverty. Go and sit down. And don't get me wrong, being selfish is not entirely bad. But my thing is, you sit down here and call that woman selfish for not wanting kids, when all the while you've been the selfish one. Like, make it make sense. And the fact that some people have kids just because, and they don't have the tools and emotional maturity to take care of that child, and they end up traumatizing the child. Remember, just because you have a womb doesn't mean you should.
Even if you call a woman selfish for deciding not to have kids, shouldn't you be happy that someone who is selfish made the responsible choice and decided not to have kids? Or are you just calling them selfish because they selfishly decided not to join you in this life of resentment over having kids? I don't think this logic registers with people because they see being selfish as inherently a bad thing. So they can't register the fact that deciding to have children is a selfish decision. And that's fine, we need selfishness to survive. But how are you going to call people selfish for deciding not to take care of a kid that doesn't even exist? When many of us are making the selfless decision not to traumatize a new generation by making sure that generation doesn't exist.
It's real funny how people will look at us, child-free people, and say that we're selfish for not wanting to have children, and yet the act of having children is what's selfish. You are bringing a human being into the world, and its sole purpose is to make you happy. Have you ever really listened to someone's reasoning for wanting to have children? I want a mini-me. I want someone to take care of the family business when I die. I want someone to take care of me when I get older. I want grandkids. I want someone to love me unconditionally. Those are all selfish reasons, especially if that baby is born in the US. And don't let that baby also be born with a uterus, because that just makes it even worse. You're bringing them into the world knowing that they're going to suffer because you want to be happy. That's selfish. And yet child-free people are the ones that are called selfish because we would rather focus on ourselves than focus on bringing another human into the world. A world that we know they won't be safe in. I don't understand how it's selfish to see the world that we live in and how much it sucks and to think, okay, let me not bring another human into this to also have to suffer like the rest of us. I would rather spend my time trying to make the best of my life on this earth than to try to bring somebody else into it to possibly make me happier, and yet they're
Have you ever been called selfish for not wanting to have kids? This is why it's totally fine for you to be selfish, and if anything, you should be proud of being selfish. If you grew up in a really dysfunctional family where your needs, your emotional, physical, mental needs were just discarded, nobody gave you the time of day, everybody used you as a punching bag for their own emotions to dump on, to use as an emotional sponge, to have you validate them, to have you help them go through experiences when you were literally a kid that needed that, and now you're an adult and you realize how much of your life you've spent people pleasing to others, and especially from a place of survival, and now you're cutting that off and you're realizing you need to put yourself first. It is totally fine for you to be selfish, and if anything, that selfishness comes from a place of self-love because no one ever put you first, so now you're putting yourself first. And it's so important to understand that those people that say you're selfish and you should have kids, they don't understand where you've come from. They don't understand that you had your childhood robbed and stolen away from you by people who were so unaware, that were narcissistic, that used you for their own emotional gain. So now, when you want to give all of that energy to yourself and not have to focus on children, on raising people, because you realized you were neglected and nobody ever raised you, now you want to be able to give yourself all the love, all the validation, and everything you've always deserved. So when people say you're selfish for not having kids, I say don't even mind them any attention, because they don't know what you've gone through. Only you know, and it's totally fine to put yourself first.
Firstly, let's define what selfishness means. Selfishness is prioritizing one's own interest and needs over others. However, choosing not to have children doesn't necessarily mean a woman is prioritizing her own interest over others. In fact, many women who choose not to have children do so because they want to focus on their careers, relationship, or personal growth, which can ultimately benefit others around them. Moreover, women have the right to make choices about their own bodies and lives. Choosing not to have children is a personal decision that shouldn't be judged or stigmatized. We should respect women's anatomy and freedom to make choices that has to do with their values and goals. So, where does this notion of selfishness come from? Often it's rooted in societal expectation around motherhood and femininity. We are socialized to believe that women should prioritize caregiving and nurturing roles. However, this narrow definition of womanhood can be limiting and damaging. We need to break down these expectations and recognize that women can have diverse roles, interests, and priorities. So to conclude my topic, women who choose not to have children are not selfish. They are simply making a personal choice that has to do with their values, goals, and priorities. Let's respect and celebrate women's anatomy rather than judging them. Thank you so much for being part of this conversation, guys. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share the video. See you in the next video and stay safe.